back to HR Shake, a podcast where we bring people, work, and passion into the mix. Today we have a very special edition where we will have the chance to know what it means to be a woman in leadership. And we will not have just a regular, discussion with just one person. We have our lovely board members here from the network. So from my left, I have Esther Cabeza. She is she will soon join the board for the network, hopefully. We have Monica Ruseva, the president of the network, Patricia Martin, the vice president of the network, and Natalia Marcu, the director of IT. So thank you so much for coming today, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
I'm really happy and so excited, and I'm really curious to see what we will find out today. It's not easy being a female in leadership, and that I think we already know, and we can, let's say, relate to it. But we will have the chance to debunk some myths today, and I cannot wait to get it started. So, first, I would be really curious to hear a little bit about your activities in the board as, the network board members.
Yes, thank you. I would say that now when I look back, since it's been 1 year since I stepped into the president's role on the association, we've been growing quite a lot.
Okay.
Including our board, but also a wider team of volunteers. And I would say that we're now getting to the point when we have a new vision for how we want to drive the association, many new projects for which we're also trying to actively involve more and more volunteers in order to expand, to make a bigger impact for the community of women, because I really think, as well as the rest of the board and our teams, that we need to support more actively women in Luxembourg.
Completely agree. Okay, that's amazing to hear. Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or?
I would just say that we are very much involved into finding partners. I think it's very important also, not just our members, but partners that will help us to provide to our members nicer events, nicer venues, and that's why we are really actively looking for partners that share the same views as us for diversity and women in particular.
Amazing. And how will you manage to bring men, for example, to let's say convince them to join the cause?
There's the strategy behind.
I think the most important, from my perspective, is to show the value that we're adding and to show that we drive things with clear mission and vision. This is something that really helped us getting more people involved over the last year, and it's something that is attractive, I believe, for partners who want to make an impact, who want their brand to be identified as a brand supporting actively women.
Okay.
And I guess that's one of the ways.
Very nice. Amazing. Well, then let's get on to it, because we have some interesting myths I would really like to hear your opinion about today. I know if you were to think, I think we will find even more, but let's see. So one of the things that I keep hearing about, and from women in leadership, is that women are naturally better at emotional labor. Is that true?
I'd say yes.
Is that true? Okay.
I say yes. However, I think we are in the corporate world kind of blocked for this emotional part, and it's very, we are taught to be more like less emotional than leaving our emotions really at work. It's difficult for a woman to really be a woman in the work environment, I believe.
That's true. Did you want to add something, Natalia?
Yeah, it's just to add it. When you started at work, it's like you have a poker face. I see it each time like that. So usually when you are a woman, you have at home a lot of stuff which you need to manage. When you come at the work, it's different environment. You need to leading yourself and to put kind of a poker face to not show what emotion you have, and during the day to be calm, and to at the end of the day to go home and to not be overloaded from the work perspective, and to keep the same calm which you have it during the work day, or vice versa. Sometimes at the work you are just take a bad day, and then you need to find that balance when you come home to not overload yourself and to find this chilling perspective with the poker face when you come.
Yeah, that's true. And what is it, for example, have you noticed that this type of, let's say, switch from the emotional side to the non-emotional side, has it brought any kind of benefits in your professional lives so far?
If I may say, for
Yes.
me, it's definitely a competitive advantage to be leading with emotional intelligence for many reasons. Maybe to name a couple of them, I would say that when you have that emotional intelligence, you can read the room, you can read the people, and so you create a frame. You frame things in a way that you're taking into account people's emotions, and that doesn't actually prevent you from being assertive or from being, from having good credibility. It's just, it actually helps you to identify accurately the emotions in the room. And then, as I said, to frame things in a way that are more acceptable for people, even if they don't love the decisions you may be taking, or but with guidance, and also creating a safe space, because you're conscious of people's emotions. So I mean, so that's my perspective.
That's a very interesting one. And has it ever brought any problems? Was it at any point a hidden cost, the situation where you had to lead with this emotional intelligence, but it did not work out in your favor? Or
I think it depends on the personality. As example, I'm extrovert person, and sometimes during the reaction which I can have, that it's a little bit annoying for somebody. When I'm overreacted, I need a little bit of time to step back, and it's like, okay, I should be chill, and maybe should not do in this situation to react like that. Meanwhile, you need to try to control and to come with the explanation after. So should I do it like that or not? And here emotional intelligence help you a lot. Sometimes from the woman perspective, we feel different. We feel that it's not okay, maybe during in IT, because like Patricia mentioned, we are in corporate mode, that it's in IT is a little bit different, because you are working with people who are more in technical part, and here you need to find the balance, how you read that person. Sometimes the perception which you have of the person, that he has a bad day, you think that you are wrong, and sometimes it's not that. You just need to ask, it's like, okay, should I that I manage bad, or this my message which I send it to you, it's not good, or how I should perceive it.
But this is exactly the emotional intelligence. This is the way to help us to adjust to what the person in front of us will feel and react to what it's been said. And if you have this emotional intelligence, you can read it and you can interact better. But it's, like you said, you need to look and observe and be aware of who's you're talking to and in what mode. And of course, I think the emotional intelligence help a lot to get the right message across.
Yeah, I think emotional intelligence actually helps you manage conflict rather than avoiding conflict.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And people maybe sometimes get confused, and they believe that emotional intelligence means softness. And that's not necessarily the thing, because you can actually develop, if you develop your emotional intelligence, you can be assertive without being aggressive. You can be kind. So that helps you put boundaries, and so that, it's all connected, but in the end, so that is leading with emotional intelligence. It's a different way of approaching things.
I imagine it would be a chaos if we didn't have that advantage in leadership, would we? How would it be for someone, for example, if women did not have this type of emotional role? How would it look like?
You can develop
That's
in
for
yourself,
sure.
because if you cannot stay. So the people is growing each time, and based on experience, you will need to have different reaction between of some situations. So from my side, I can say that I am not the same person as 2 years ago when I overacted for some situation. Now, if it's happened, okay, we can discuss. Okay, this is my limit. How should I achieve? But this is growing with the leadership part, which you is like, okay, my limit is here. I will start to be me.
Yeah, but I think if we didn't have this emotional intelligence, I think it will be even more wars and battles and crimes in the corporate world. I think that this is the real benefit of having this emotional intelligence, is to keep the peace somehow, because I think this is what we aim for. It's to keep the peace. Yeah.
But also when we talk about engagement, when it comes to team engagement and retention, speaking of the corporate world, I think without emotional intelligence, sooner or later people will start noticing that something in the environment doesn't really fit, and there is a very big importance of this human side of things that a leader should recognize and should be conscious about all the time. And I can't really imagine an organization that is successful in retaining people, not having leaders who are empathetic and who are driving things with emotional intelligence.
Understood, and that's a very good point that you mentioned. And so then we agree that women are naturally better at this.
Definitely, yes.
We're not afraid to show it, actually.
But that's very good. We should be proud of it. I mean, of course, it is something that we have it naturally. Why shouldn't we use it as such?
Absolutely.
And speaking of emotional intelligence and emotional, let's say, context in general, there's another myth that keeps circling around, and I think it's very familiar for you guys, that women are considered too emotional for high leadership roles. True or false?
Well, I guess everyone has a different perspective, but maybe I can start with mine. I have personally seen this opinion, or let's say this myth, in situations where women are trying to challenge some sort of dominating position in the room. And it's interesting to see that when a man is trying to challenge it, the perception is not the same as if a woman does it, because we are many times being given the label of being too emotional, or sometimes not even professional. If we want to challenge the status quo, if we want to take a bit more into account the people's side in a conflict, while many times if a man goes with the corporate politics or with the dominating position, this is seen as absolutely fine, which I think is changing little by little, but it takes some time.
Yeah, I think there is also another confusion, which is because we talk about being emotional, it doesn't mean that we are making a drama about everything.
Thank you.
We're actually looking at things from the lens with our emotions. Let's take, for example, a stressful situation, an emergency situation. You would want to have a leader dealing with that in a calm way. That is what people need in the room, to see that the leader is calm, confident. Maybe he wouldn't have all the answers, but he knows what the priorities are, and so doing that through the emotions, being conscious of what's the temperature in the room, what the people need. I think it's an asset, it's an advantage
For sure.
So I just wanted to make the point on the emotional aspect. It doesn't mean everything is blooming and everything is a drama.
But I believe also that there is some question of tone of the voice, that for a woman, when she starts to be passionate about something, when she wants to push across an idea or an argument, or just standing the ground of the idea that she has, she will use her voice, and this voice often it's quite higher pitched because the passion is there, and it's viewed as being emotional, but in fact it's the passion that is behind it. So, and I think the voice that you use as a woman, it's a very important tool, and eventually there are some practice to have to master your voice in order that it doesn't go too high and doesn't scare the people around you when you are speaking. I think it's very important that we need to check how we are perceived, just basically on the sound, the music of your voice.
This is an interesting point, because one of my follow-up questions here would have been, what do people actually understand by being too emotional? You know?
Yeah.
And you already started mentioning from your end, and also you in terms of the voice. So is it just these two things that are seeing us, or are you also by let's say saying, okay, we challenging the status quo? Is there anything else that people might misinterpret by being too emotional? Because this is something that I think it's not clear for everybody. What does it mean to be too emotional?
I think it's depend of the situation, and you have the body balance of your how you show your expression. You know, sometimes you because you are calm, you do not show. You try to keep yourself as you can, but your body show in a different way. How you keep your hand, how you try to move. This is give you the same as like, okay, she is emotional, not stable, or how you give your voice in the situation when you think that you overreacted, but for you is like, okay, I am calm, okay, and you see that the person it's more and more precise of your message which you try to explain, and sometimes it's better to do a step back. It's like, okay, I will listen you, and after that I will continue with my voice. And that is sometimes it's like, okay, why you want to be a leader? And here I think it's a misunderstanding when you said, okay, you are a leader in this kind of group. No, because maybe I would like, it's not about the voice, it's about how you would like to send the message and how the person should perceive. From my experience, sometimes the perception of what message I send is not the same as the person perceive. And this is somehow an intelligent part of us. Did you understand what I mean? And you leave the office and you receive a feedback as like, but you say this message, but the person was not realized that it's that message which you speak about.
When we are defined as emotional, it's because we are saying something about what has been put to us, and we are reacting against it. And often this fact that we are against a common idea or it's already for some people viewed as being emotional, while it is just being not going into the same sense as the person that is talking to us. And because the only time I've had this kind of don't be emotional is because I was defending my point of view, and it came across as being emotional. But when you defend your point of view, it's because you believe in something.
Of course.
And this is where you are expressing yourself about an idea that you want to really push forward. And this is when I've been treated as being emotional. While in many people that they know me, I'm not at all emotional. When I speak to somebody, I'm passionate, but I'm not emotional. Only when I have to really defend an idea.
Which makes sense.
For me too.
And here I think it's the balance. It's like, should you be emotional or you should be just not emotional? And that is the question is a little bit. If you are not emotional, okay, did you care or you are not? When you try to push and to send your message, this is sometimes when you have a discussion, you can be just, okay, it's not my deal, and you are not emotional at all.
Involved,
and that is somehow it's your behavior, or it's normal for you or not, and that is somehow a balance. Too emotional is bad, less emotional, not sure if it's good, because you do not have any opinion. And here's the balance, how you want to achieve during the discussion.
We are not robots, not yet.
I find it is a bit of a double standard, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yes, absolutely.
And someone with a high emotional intelligence will be able to navigate through those double standards.
definitely.
Yes.
How do you think we should go around this? I mean, how should we raise more awareness on this topic for the rest of the people to understand what it actually means or not to be emotional, how to navigate this?
To try to think not for a short term, to try to give a vision a little bit for a long term, what you want to achieve from this discussion. As example, when we started with the network, we have a goal. Okay, what vision we give? We want to give the voice for the woman. We want to challenge and to give empowerment for the discussion. And our vision, it was, okay, at the moment, what are weakness? What are our good points and what are our bad points? And we try to do a strategy behind, and this is take me a little bit of time to understand that From our perspective, we need to be patient, and our emotions sometimes it's too up as a woman, and to calm down is like, okay, our vision is for a long term. We would like to have this vision and how we would like to achieve this, because if we need for a short term, we can discuss quickly and say, okay, this is 50 minutes of coffee. We do brainstorming of ideas, and that's all. But if we need a little bit for a more time to understand what are the consequences of our discussion, here emotional intelligence will help you a lot. And think in an ensemble part. Think how you would like to have it in 3, 6 months, and 1 year. This will give you a little bit different perspective.
So if you tell this to a person, for example, to a man, this thing, do you think he will understand that he will stop then labeling you as being too emotional next time when you start challenging the status quo?
I will skip.
Not necessarily, but okay, that's fine. We can live with that.
We can say it like, okay, can we turning back in a while, and after that you will see the reaction, you know.
But when a man is acting in a more of an authoritarian way, for example, isn't that emotional as well? Somehow?
It is.
So it's like we're being judged differently for maybe the same behavior sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think there is also something else. In order for me to close the gap somehow, there should be also the awareness of how we're positioning ourselves.
True.
So I think it's very important, for as much as we need to speak up for ourselves, to not victimize ourselves all the time under this stigma that exists, but actually think what we can do in order to position ourselves in a conversation in a more assertive way, or what we can do to drive the conversation differently so that this gap starts getting closed.
I have to agree with that, indeed. Because, I mean, I understand that there are maybe some misunderstandings between how women and men work and how they understand each other, which is normal. But it needs also to be covered from our side as much as we can, and then of course from their side to be able to understand why they are perceiving us this way. So, but I do agree completely with your point.
Yeah. And I think there is a big role that organizations can play, also on leadership level, because many times I'm actually questioning, are we measuring the right things in order to drive diversity, or in order to drive this gap closing process, because when we talk about performance or promotions, many times we're pointing out that there are less and less women in leadership roles, but I have the feeling that we're only scratching the surface and we're actually not taking any specific steps on organizational level many times to close this gap and to address the issue. Because
you actually brought me to the next myth, and that is companies nowadays in Luxembourg are quite ready for inclusive leadership. Is that true? Judging by what you were just saying, or do we feel that companies are ready for inclusive leadership?
On the paper, yes.
Yeah, exactly. On the paper, I agree with that.
But in practice?
In practice, no. Because now we are facing the situation where men feel that because you are a woman, you have the you are favorable to certain position, while in fact it should always be based on competences, and if you are a man or a woman, it's absolutely irrelevant. But now it is perceived that if you are a woman, because of the different laws that are issued to make the work life more equal for men and women, it's very difficult to make sure that we are recognized for the right thing, and not just because we are a woman. And I think this is really the big challenge. And men do not perceive us as equivalent on the competences side. They are viewing us as we are privileged because now we are women, and there are laws that accompany us into leadership roles. But this is not what it should be. In fact, there should be no law. But because we are half of the population of the world, so we should be equally viewed as human beings and as competent as any other. But it is very difficult to change the view, because we are in the corporate world, and this corporate what has been built for so many years by men, that even men do not even realize that it's been for them. and for us it's difficult to navigate into this kind of organization, because we are not fitting completely to what the structure is giving us, and so it's kind of difficult to be a woman in the corporate world that is very male dominated, and how we can change this slowly but surely. But without the men, it will not work. So we need to make sure the men are understanding that what they are working in, the environment they are working in, it's something that they built themselves for themselves. So how can we change this organization where women will have the same part, the right structure for both, the being a woman in work or a man in work, it's the same. This will take another 200 years.
Hopefully not.
Well, I think things have improved a little bit, but the amount of effort it requires is huge against the results, I would say. We are now starting to see women at leadership positions, so we're starting to have a seat on the table, as you say, but there's still a lot of work. And we cannot do it without men, as you said.
For sure. Yeah. And there's a thing, because we were talking about tracking, to see how companies, how we can see companies that are there on the right way to foster this inclusive leadership. Are there any particular metrics we can maybe have in place to realize, is this company going in the right direction or not?
First, we need to identify what are actually the right metrics that we want to look at, because I think companies tend to think mainly about promotions when it comes to diversity, but I think there are many other factors, including engagement, or whose voice is being heard in the room, for instance, when there are meetings, that nobody is tracking that, or many different moments that are evidencing that there's some data that might get lost on the way, and that might be actually valuable to build some sort of strategy around how we can rebalance this whole thing. I think it really depends also on the sector, because in some sectors companies are taking a bit more steps, while some others historically have been companies where men are dominating in terms of numbers, in terms of promotions, in terms of many other things. So I think if we look at it holistically, we really need to identify what are the important things or the steps that we need to take in order to make bigger impact. Because I don't think that companies are trying to be very innovative when it comes to driving gender balance and equality. I think the same strategies, to an extent, that have been used 10 years ago, with some slight modification, continue being used, and with the new environment and world we live in, that it's so dynamic, I'm not sure if the old methods can drive new outcomes. So probably we need to revise this whole process and see what we can do.
Makes sense. And one more thing that I wanted, let's say the last myth that I wanted to discuss with you, was about women must be always exceptional in a role to be able to be seen as the leaders, while men, it's enough that they're just okay, they're managing, and for them it's enough to be in leadership. What do you think about that?
I think it's our fault. Somehow it's our fault, because we're the first ones putting that pressure on ourselves, trying to be perfect at everything.
Yes.
We should have a little bit more courage and be more, bold and ambitious, and not being ashamed of being ambitious.
And the right to fail.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Sorry guys, but this is very important, that each of us needs to have the courage to say, okay, I made a mistake, and it's okay too, huh? But this needs a little courage, and I'm sure we have that. It's just a matter of practicing it again. I think it's very important.
Yeah. I think women also have to change the mindsets because we are participating unconsciously into that.
Yes, because we are bringing up our kids. And women and boys, girls and boys, and of course, unconsciously we are making them already with some biases, and this is where it starts. So we need to change how we are bringing the kids up, I think.
That's very important, and especially since I've noticed, for example, boys nowadays are watching a lot of things on Instagram, for example, Andrew Tate and all that things, which are not exactly very, let's say, educative. So I think education is a really important part of how they're perceiving, in general, working with women and dealing with women and understanding.
And we were discussing earlier, a little bit earlier, about AI. AI has biases towards women. So it's our responsibility as women to make sure that we are feeding AI as well with our differences and not just letting the men having the space in AI. Well, fortunately, young ladies and girls are interested in AI as well, so that's going to be a bit more balanced. But we have to pay attention and make sure that we are correcting these biases that are just growing into AI. And because it's a reflect of our society, it's the match of our society. So we need to be careful.
Indeed, I completely agree. Is there any other opinion that you wanted to add here on this?
Something like more of a side comment that I was thinking about, because I'm from Eastern Europe and I was growing up in a very different society where, let's say, many times the woman is highly dependent on the man next to her. And when I went abroad, I saw the other extreme. In Germany, where I went to live, I saw a world where women are highly independent, and that sometimes might lead to the other extreme of men becoming too passive. So I think if we manage to bring together these two worlds and rebalance them, probably it will be better for everyone who is part of the society.
Yes, absolutely.
The cultural part that you mentioned is important too. We are in Luxembourg where it's a part where we challenge everyone between of us. So you see how it's better from another culture, what is good for another, what is bad from another culture. Oversized to say it regarding with the kids and how you grow up, have an experience on that. So usually what I try to do with my son, it's trying to say to him that you need to take care of the person or the girl which is near you. So it's if you show your power, it's not that you have that power. She has strength point from different skills or soft skills which you have. So somehow you need to find the balance. You need to protect, and in the same way to help the woman or the girl which are near him to grow. This is how I learn from my side. Maybe from my culture, which I come in the same order, I was learned each time. Okay, men are never cried. This, I think, it's a strategy which I try to say. Okay, it's not bad to be vulnerable.
No.
It's sometimes it's good to be straight, to be straight in yourself and to know what you want. But if you want to cry, if you see that you have weakness, or if you feel at that time, at that moment, that you cannot have the power of something, you can say it. And this is I started to learn being mother and trying to cultivate in that. For my daughter, I each time say the constraint as like, okay, you need to know what you want, and this is come from her soft skills somehow. It's like, okay, she want to do, I let her go. If she want to dress in that dress in that day, okay, it for me is like, you cannot go outside when it's 10 in the shirt or in the skirt. It's like, why? No, because I want. Okay, today you will go because outside it's cold. Tomorrow you will not go because you will see that you are sick. But that is the balance, to show that you can have this option if you want. And this is somehow a leadership which comes from the childhood, and you need to find the balance on that. The parents should take care a little bit and to show the road. This is how I grow up, and if you want to be like that, I show you how it is. But if you want to be better, you need to be better than me, and you need to show in that, protecting the people near you, growing at the school, and to say, okay, this is not good because I think that you should do like that. And this is come with the perception when you try to challenge this. And leadership, it's not about that you need to show is like, okay, I have a power. No, the power is the mind somehow, and how you do your leading.
Yeah, and to add something very important, I think women needs role model from women, but from men too.
For sure.
And men that are caring the same way as women are caring. I think these are the role models that we need to have more in our environment, because this is the only way that we will have balance, and that we will never think about men or women. It will be just us, and that's it.
It's a community. And one thing to kind of end the note here, if you were to give a piece of advice to a young woman who's now stepping into leadership, and she is carrying with her all sorts of expectations, either if they're hers or not, what would be the one thing that she should stop thinking or stressing about when going into leadership?
For me, stop thinking that you should be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was the
Or
point.
that
It's
you
like,
are not ready, or that you don't deserve it.
Yes.
I think sometimes we get overwhelmed with all the expectations that we're feeling that are coming our way. So once we release that load, I think things are happening. And then we are also more natural, and we're leading with passion and with empathy. And I think that's the right way to go.
Amazing. Anything else besides this? Any other advice that you would have for the ladies who are now stepping into leadership? And
it's not about the leadership. I think if we think in a different way, the leadership, it's not just about the following and to show that I want to be upper. No, it's your mindset, how you want to achieve what you want. And it's never said like, okay, this is my step back, I'm not good in that, but I would like to improve myself and to follow and to see. I would like to be like that woman, how she has been done that, how she achieved this. Should I do the same? No, you should not. If you want, you do, but you can find your way to do that from your perspective. And it's good to know, it's like, okay, I'll fail, but I fail by myself without being judged. So that is sometimes is very hardly. It's like, okay, we are judged because you try to do it. Like, you have been done wrong because you achieved this, but at the end you are judged because you do. But you do not try to do anything. So why you are judging me? And you do not try. So it's better to try to be a little bit judged, and I will improve myself in that situation. What you will, and I will win from that, having feedback. But a constructive, negative feedback, this is a choice of us, how you receive this feedback. And this is a part. But if you will never try to do as a leadership and to be a mentee of something, that it's another part.
And maybe I will add one part that is, I think, essential. I think women need to learn how to work together.
yes.
I think it's so, and we are so powerful when we are many, and this is what women should just get rid of, the bad ideas that women are jealous or things like that. No, they are just aiming to do their best, but if we are together, we are so strong. And we need to think that we can achieve absolutely anything we want.
Love it. I love it so much.
And we can.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for being here today. It was a real pleasure to have you and to have your insights on these topics. For sure, I think if we were to have this discussion, there will be they will not finish anytime soon because we have a lot of things that
We'll have another round table.
we can have maybe another stay tuned for another round table. Yes, but I really appreciate. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. I'm hoping it will be very useful for the people who are watching and listening, and maybe we can help raise awareness. Again, for watching another episode of HR Shake, a place where we bring people, work, and passion into the mix. You've listened today to a very special edition about female leadership, and don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube, and stay tuned for our next episode.